Hey, what's up everyone? Tim here from Everyday Tactical Vids. Thanks as always for checking out the videos. Today we're going to offer you 10 thoughts coming out of Alone Season 3, Episode 1. And this type of post-show reflection or post-show commentary, I'm going to do for the whole season. I may do some of them on YouTube. I may do some Facebook Live chats. We'll see how it goes. We'll decide as the season goes on. But let me give you 10 thoughts coming out of the first episode of Season 3. I do want to let you know that I am going to talk about people who came and went from Episode 1. So if you haven't watched it yet, don't watch the rest of this video until you actually go and see Season 3, Episode 1. So the first thing I want to say is you should check out, if you have the access to it, the Making the Cast, Selection of the Cast video. I forget the exact name of it, but I was actually watching that a little bit prior to that first season of Alone. Just cool to hear the story, and they all get selected, and then as I guess kind of in the final processes, you go through some survival training, and there's a survival training expert, I guess I should say, who gives a commentary on each person, like here's what they really bring to the table, here may be some of their challenges. They talk about one of the guys that's really he's just like a bigger guy, like size wise he's just larger, and so he's going to have more calories to actually stay alive and to thrive during the show. So definitely want to encourage you to check that out, the Meet the Cast, or Choosing of the Cast of Alone Season 3. So my second thought was about the headlamps. And obviously everybody has a headlamp. They use it during filming and when they're out and about. It looks like, my guess is that they're given headlamps because it's not one of their 10 items. I was just wondering what they're given for headlamps first off. What quality headlamp are they given? And then also what's the lumen output and can they swap it out? So if you're given a headlamp that's like 200 lumens, can you say, yeah, that's cool, but I'm going to bring mine instead and bring an 800 lumen one? My guess is not, because everybody looks pretty similar as far as the style of headlamp that they're using. But man, that's a major advantage. They need it because they're going to be filming, but to have a headlamp and to not have to include it as one of your items, that's a pretty big deal. All right, here's the third thing I was thinking about. There are clips from this season so far, it's only one episode in, but definitely from the second season, and I think from the first season as well, of things that you never see actually happen. For example, mountain lions, the wild boar, bear. In season 1, when Joe Robinette saw the black bear, I mean, he took footage of it himself, but they had footage of like wolves, I think, in season 2, like charging the camera, and they have similar footage like that from season 3 with these wild boars. But in season 2, you never actually see that interaction between the camera and the wolf, or they never talk about it. So it's possible that that's real footage of somebody's experience in season 2 with a wolf, and they just didn't roll it in. I'm just thinking to myself, if I'm a producer, like interaction between a wolf and a human, yeah, I want to put that on TV because it's really going to get people's attention. So just, be looking as you see footage, just think to yourself, okay, I see this, kind of B-roll footage that they put in different spots. Does it actually play out from someone's actual experience on the in Patagonia, or is it just footage that they took or that they got from somewhere else to kind of add in to make it seem a bit more dramatic? So that, just an observation. If history is using that just to get people more engaged, no harm, no foul. I don't see it as a huge deal, but it does. If you don't think about it, it can look like, oh my gosh, man, like people were interacting with wolves and cougars and bears and stuff all throughout the episodes, and then you're like, oh, maybe that actually never happened. So there's thought number 3. So these next couple thoughts kind of tie together. The first one is just about leaving family. Yeah, I mean, that clearly, looking from past seasons, that's the biggest deal. You certainly have people who are struggling with, food or shelter or the rain, whatever it is, but leaving family, man, that's just really, really hard to do for any amount of time, and especially for a long amount of time. Is $500,000 motivating enough to keep you away from your family? For some people, yeah, and it doesn't mean they don't love their family. It just means that they're, putting their nose to the grindstone and getting stuff done for now, so that they can go back and help their family, their friends, whatever it is, however they're going to use that money. So that thought about family leads into my next thought, which people ask sometimes in the comments on my videos, would you ever consider being on alone? The concept really interests me, but at this stage of my life, I would not be interested. I wouldn't apply. I haven't applied. I don't plan on applying. I've got my wife and I've got 2 little kids, and my wife and I have talked a bunch of times. If in the future, when the kids were older, in college, out of the house, whatever it is, we could be apart for 2 months. Yeah, our relationship is strong enough. But for me right now, the way I'm looking at life is saying I really want to be here around for my kids and investing in their lives. Even if you went for 2 months or 3 months, some people say it's only 90 days, but those are 90 days I wouldn't give up. So for me right now, I would not consider going on the show. Thought number 6 ties right into that, which is about Jim. And I put notes down when I was watching the show, took notes about him leaving his family, and I just wrote, man, that's going to be really tough. And then after the first episode, you see how tough it is. This thought ties into my next thought, so this is, I guess, like 6 and 7. Jim leaving, he tapped out, and then Justin, who was on season 2, put a video up on his Facebook page and talked about like how there's going to be a lot of, Monday morning quarterbacking going on with people saying, oh, how could you do that? You knew it was going to be hard, blah, blah, blah. And he was just giving props to Jim and saying it's really hard. So, yeah, I mean, as soon as I saw, especially he's leaving his wife, that's one thing. He's leaving his soon-to-be there, it sounds like, children, adopting 3 kids. That's a huge thing. So, no harm, no foul, man. I was surprised when he shared his story that he was going to be leaving in the first place. And then when he tapped out, I was surprised it was as quickly as it was, but again, no harm, no foul. I get it, man. I totally understand, like, wanting to be there for your wife and your soon-to-arrive adopted children. I think that's a very legit thing. One thing that I thought was cool was a comment made by Callie, and she was talking about thriving versus surviving. Just, get you thinking differently, like, how do I stay alive versus how do I really do well there? And I saw Dave, who won last season, had posted on his Facebook page the difference between wilderness survival, and I think he called it wilderness living. So survival saying I got to get out of here as quickly as possible. Living is saying how do I live a sustainable life? And there's always that kind of spectrum of camping, survival, bushcraft, all those different things. But I like the idea of thriving versus surviving. Also, props to her. When she catches the fish, she cuts open the stomach to see what the fish are eating. That's just kind of a thoughtful way to go, okay, what are fish interested in? Because that's what I'm going to fish with when I, go for my next round of fishing. So I thought that was pretty cool. Number 8 is just talking about water and the lack of discussion about water. If you remember season 1, Mitch creates a raft and then gets across this body of water that's salt water in front of her. Maybe it's brackish, but crosses it because he thinks there's a stream somewhere and he needs fresh water to drink. But there's been no discussion of that. So this is, they're all on a lake, it looks like, at this point. There's been no discussion about, well, let's put it this way. So far, everybody's right on the lake from what we see. My assumption is it's going to be true, but there's no discussion of where am I going to get fresh water, because it looks like that's water that they can pretty easily consume. And if you've been in the woods for any amount of time without water, or maybe just in life in general, I can say dehydration, it's not like, 3 or 4 days in you start to feel really bad. When you get dehydrated, it can really impact you quickly. You're in a stressful situation. You're thinking about your family. You're really far from home, all these different things. And, if you don't stay hydrated, man, that's a big deal. Another thing, too, is that if you drink enough water, I had a buddy who was, years ago, big football player guy, and then after football was working on losing weight, and he would just drink a ton of water at night to fill his stomach, fill his belly, so that he wouldn't be as hungry. So that can actually serve to, at least to some degree, help, stave off those feelings of immediate hunger when hunger pains come. You got to get food eventually, but water can help, certainly, even just kind of mentally, to make you say, okay, I feel satiated. I'm not going to be, going crazy about food for the next couple hours, maybe. Last up here, I just want to show you, I do this often when I watch, like, survival TV shows, or watching like a survival DVD, training DVD. I'll just get out some gear and mess around with it while I'm watching the show in the background. So I just want to show you some knives I was messing with. This first one, tiny little knife from CRKT. This is the Pangolin. I think it's called the Pangolin. Let's see. Pangolin, yeah. So I'm actually going to be featuring this one and these other two in an upcoming survival knife video, talking about some smaller knives. This one is brand new. I haven't even had a chance to use it yet, but just if people are looking for a smaller fixed blade, I'm going to test this thing out and then give some thoughts on it. That's a cool little knife. Comes with something that's kind of like I think this is I don't know, it doesn't say Blade Tech anywhere, but it looks like a Blade Tech lock there. So you can set that up, however you want it. Anyhow, cool little knife. Pangolin. Next up we have this one, which is the Steel Wheel Gecko. This is the 1533 is the number. Comes with a very nice leather sheath. This knife is made in Italy, and look at that leather sheath. Really sweet. Sheath is made in Italy as well. There are a couple different options as far as your handle color. There's also a folding knife version of this. You can obviously see it's very, very shiny with that satin finish, mirror finish basically. But anyhow, that's the Gecko 1533. So I was messing around with that one a little bit. Last one here. I just finished a review on the DPX Heft 12 Chop, and this is kind of like one of their original smaller knives. This is the Heft, H-E-F-T, I believe it's called. Yeah, Heft, Hest, H-E-S-T from DPX gear. So take a look at that guy. Cool little knife, made to be very functional out there in the woods. And yeah, I mean, it's just got a little bottle opener there. You got a wire stripper. It's got a little hex driver. They get that little choil there, a little cutout there, so you can actually sharpen your knife. Choils can be used to put your finger up there, but they're really made actually so you can get all the way to the end of the blade when you're sharpening. A little pry bar, you can certainly break something with that. Very comfortable in hand. Interesting little MOLLE sheath system. When you put it in the sheath, there's this little bungee up top that you loop around the end here, like so, and there you go. Anyhow, so just for kicks, I just want to show you those knives that I was using, kind of testing out, checking out, putting the sheath system together on the pangolin while I was watching the show during the commercials. So like I said, I'm going to be doing an after-action report on watching, observing alone. I want to part with one final thought, which is it's really easy to be a hero when you're sitting on your couch or sitting at your computer watching the show. It is so much harder to actually be out there in the woods, away from home. It's rainy, it's cold, all those different types of things. So I just give a major props, thumbs up to all the cast for all 3 seasons so far who've been on the Alone show on History. Just takes guts, takes commitment to do it, no matter how quickly you leave or how long you last. Just kudos to you guys for jumping in and doing it. I put links down below in the description section to these knives in case you're interested in them, and then to some other information about Alone as well. I want to remind you, you can always enter into their giveaway once a day, and that's for the Alone card, and then also $500 gift card shopping spree type situation where you're going to be able to get some of your own outdoor gear. So check that out. Just click that show more tab down in the description section, and you can use those links to enter in. So thanks for watching this video, and as always, more videos coming soon. Take care.